Senator Ted Cruz and the ICC. Hey, it's Susan. Welcome to today's episode of War Crimes Unit. Hey, nice to see ya. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've been sort of dumped in this homeless shelter here in Texas. And, one of my good guy friends is actually very well versed in politics. And he keeps bringing up the name Ted Cruz or Senator Ted Cruz every time he sees me. Well, you know what? Okay, here's the thing about Senator Ted Cruz. Now, if you watch his speeches or his things that he talks about in the Senate Judiciary Committee where he's chewing out the FBI, where he's chewing out the Justice Department for things like Fast and Furious or things like civil rights violations. I mean, he just did that a couple of years ago. He chewed out the FBI and, for some of the civil rights violations that they've done, and then including also heavily questioning the new appointed FBI director, saying that, if we appoint you, are there going to be civil rights violations again? Now, at the same time that he was doing all of this, and this is all publicized on YouTube, I was actually sitting in his state in Sugar Land, Texas, getting heavily violated by the FBI, by an FBI task force, and any other law enforcement or government employees that wanted to work in their conspiracy. So I already kind of had it out with Senator Ted Cruz's chief of staff. I mean, I'm sorry, but she's just a downright bitch. This letter that Homeland Security wrote 5 years ago, should be pretty instantaneous. I don't know, it says it very clearly, within the purview of the U.S. Department of Justice, Washington, D.C. So I don't know how much clearer that has to be for a congressional member, be it a staff member, be it their chief of staff, or be it the actual member of Congress themselves in the Senate or the House. Their question on anything should be, why is the U.S. Department of Justice not doing anything about anything in this case? But that has never come up. Instead, Senator Ted Cruz's chief of staff just chewed me out, and basically said, well, do you want a jurisdiction transfer into ICE? And I'm like, well, is that the most appropriate? At that point, I had been retaliated against so much in so many different ways, and so many other people had faced retaliation, including my family up in Rochester, that I had already been to the U.S. Marshal Service myself. So would a jurisdiction transfer into ICE be the most appropriate at that time? Well, you know what? I didn't know. I said, I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. Here's a letter from the U.S. Marshal Service. I don't know. Senator Ted Cruz would probably like this letter from the U.S. Marshal Service. He probably would dig that. But the question is that should I give Senator Cruz's office one more chance? I don't really think that I should have to. I think that they should be able to navigate the government for me. That's what they advertise that they do, when you ask for help with a federal agency. This is a big case. I told them every government agency is involved in one way or the other, positive or negative, and I just keep getting retaliated against. I don't know if I should give Senator Ted Cruz's office one more chance. Why? I would prefer the ICC just to come smashing down on the country for the civil rights violations are actually what they have done in lieu of actually upholding the Constitution is they have actually conducted a mass criminal activity. So the civil rights violations are intentional with the intent of causing harm to a population. And if Senator Ted Cruz, if his office was unwilling years ago when I was here in Texas to look into the intrinsics of this case, if he was unwilling to do so then, why should I give them another chance right now? You see? The only good thing about it is that if I were to get Senator Ted Cruz to chew out the Justice Department, chew him out publicly, then that would also help bring further evidence for the ICC. So I kind of got the country jacked in a box, all of which they deserve. All of which this country deserves, the United States deserves, because I should not keep having to go to members of Congress over the same shit. I shouldn't have to keep going to members of Congress based on the daily retaliation. It should be handled instantaneously the very first time that I contact someone's office. And at least Congressman Beto O'Rourke, at least their office is doing something about it, and I don't have to sit here and play these games. Oh, let's just see if I come back to Texas again, should I give Senator Ted Cruz's office one more chance? You know what? I don't think so. I think somebody in a higher power should ask Senator Ted Cruz and ask his office why they didn't do anything the first time around. Today's episode of War Crimes Unit. Keep your stun gun, machine gun, or automatic weapon handy. There's real criminals and terrorists out there. Not me. I'll see you next time.